So I'm thinking about our worth, our worthiness, our value, our talents and skills and contribution to the world. There's kind of two different versions. There's the version of like what we're truly capable of, and then there's the version of what we are in this right now moment ready to claim. And it's the process of claiming your worth at higher and higher levels that I'm really thinking about this morning. And I don't even know where I'm trying to go with this, but I am going to give it a whirl. And actually, that's one of my, I guess, like one of my main growth tactics is building the plane while I'm flying it. There's a hands-on approach to the way I grow and to the way I learn. There's a lot of different things that I could point to in my personality. It doesn't really matter, but like the way I learn best is a little bit of instruction, maybe let me ask a question or two, but mostly I want to just take it and do it. And in the doing of it, I will figure out how it works and how, okay, I made this mistake and I learned this lesson, and so I'm not going to do it that way next time. I'm going to do it this way. And I love that. That's like my preferred way, is to build the plane while I'm flying it and to learn by doing. And so I am having, I'm like right in the middle of my very first group coaching program. And stepping into coaching, it's still such a work in progress for me. The word coach has such a connotation around it where I don't really see myself like that. I see myself more like a bridge builder, where it's possible to build a bridge between point A and point B almost all the time, and to help, somebody walk across a bridge into a new place. That's really what resonates with me. And anyways, that's not the culture that I'm working in, right? That's not the world. That's not our current vernacular, is to say, hey guys, I'm a bridge builder. When you need a bridge built, come holler at me. No, people go looking for coaching. That's kind of like the direction, or the meet them where they are type mindset, right? You don't want to just walk out on a random, here, let me go set my table up in this random location out in the middle of nowhere and wait for my ideal customer. So much as there's a convention of people who they're already gathered, they're my target audience, let me go put a table in the middle of that and get where they are. So there has been this merge, this convergence of me stepping into coaching in a one-on-one sense, which eventually over the course of this year has led me into the space of wanting to do group coaching, mostly from the perspective of just even more bang for our buck as far as the time spent, plus the individuals within the program will make relationships with each other as well as with me. And I think there's so much value in that community aspect as well. So I was super inspired. I downloaded the vision for this group container over the Virgo full moon earlier this year. And it started about a month ago. And I have been working on claiming my worth for years, right? That's an ongoing process, probably never going to be over. And at least that's kind of how I look at it. I think there's probably always room for growth in terms of continuing to heal and claim our value. But even being able to publicly advertise a group coaching program, regardless of what I was going to charge for it, felt like a step that my soul had to really chew its way through to get there. It was significant all by itself, like I said, let alone what I'm charging for it, right? And then there's what I'm charging for it. And the first time you're ever doing something, who the hell knows what you're supposed to charge? I mean, obviously, I could look at other programs of similar lengths and that sort of thing and see like, okay, how much are they charging? But that's like not even close to apples as far as like the value for value exchange of what I'm offering compared to what they're offering. Plus, like you're building this whole program, and in the stages where you're building it and pricing it, you have no idea how many people are going to show up. And for me, in my case, I didn't even know how many people I wanted to show up. I'm like, I don't know what's going to be not enough or what would be too much. Like what would be too many people to like even be able to make it manageable. I had no idea about any of this, building the plane while you're flying it. And so as I get into it, I'm hitting up against this I'm not going to call it a pattern because it's so early, and I really, if I'm being totally honest, I'd rather it not be a pattern, but it is healing. It's definitely bringing something up for me to consider, which is this is a lot more work than what I feel like the compensation, like the reciprocity, like the amount of energy that I'm putting into it compared to like if you were going to take and break it down into a dollarly figure, like an hourly figure, it's like dollar an hour. I don't know. I have, it's really, 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 really got me deep into this question, this conversation around claiming my worth and knowing my value and knowing the value of even like how I'm choosing to spend that time in the first place, because investing it into the program has felt good and satisfying and fulfilling in a way that is like paying me all by itself. That's like paying me in something that money can't even buy, which is like soul level fulfillment. So the amount of soul level fulfillment that I've gotten out of the program so far is like when I really back up a sec, right, out of the whole, like, I don't feel like I'm being compensated enough. When I back up and I include the soul level fulfillment back into the equation, I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah, I guess like truly I would have done this for free because the joy in the journey of creating and getting to meet these people and getting to deliver these sessions and watch the ahas and watch the dots connect and like to get to do it has been rewarding for my soul in a way that is like beyond even what you would think of as work. So the fact that I am making money at all is truly icing on the cake, for one. And the other way that I was like, wow, like mind blown. So after I backed up and got that back into the equation, then I realized, Carly, you realize that like this whole learn by doing thing, what it means is that I don't pay for someone to teach me how to be a coach. I don't pay for somebody to like, I have invested in my own coaches before, like coaching me on my purpose and my life path and, you know, understanding myself and healing my shadow. And I've paid coaches for that before, but I've never paid somebody to teach me how to coach. So in that way, you know, investment in learning is $0. And then over here, with this group coaching program where like I am truly learning how to be a coach, like I'm having to like give myself a crash course self-study program on the side behind the scenes to even like keep my head above water and like make all of this work. I don't want to make it sound like I'm struggling because I'm really not. This is totally where I want to be. I would rather, there's nowhere else I would rather be than in this learning. And there's a quote to that point that I heard yesterday that says like the most powerful learning is the uncomfortable stuff. It's when you're uncomfortable that the most powerful learning takes place. So if you're not uncomfortable, you're not having any kind of experience that's going to stick with you and change you for the long term. And this group coaching program is uncomfortable. I mean that with like all the respect and love in the world, truly. These people who have gathered, like I said, there's literally nowhere I would rather be. And so to look at it from the side of like instead of investing like $1,000 into me studying how to be a coach, I'm getting paid $1,000 to study how to be a coach in a group setting, which is definitely going to help me in my one-on-one skills. Like it's feeding into my own growth in huge ways, and I'm getting paid to show up to it instead of me paying to show up to it. So all of that to say, like, the journey of claiming our worth, it is a gradual process, and there are so many steps. Some of them have to do with money, some of them don't. And every single one of them is challenging you at how uncomfortable are you willing to be? Because in order to truly claim your worth, like, you're going to be uncomfortable in the early part of being at that first stage. And then as you get comfortable there, now you have to go to the next stage. And so it is truly a perpetual state of embracing your own discomfort and learning to be with your own discomfort and asking yourself the questions along the way, like, what new tool or skill could I learn to help this be easier? And that's what's happening with my group coaching program. Is already a couple times I feel like I'm in over my head. And in that drowning type feeling, it's like a survival moment. So are you going to drown? That's it? Like, you're just done? You're just going to give up and like throw in the towel or something? Like, or are you going to like figure out how to learn how to swim a little bit better, a little bit stronger? Are you going to go looking for what kind of a mentor or article or expertise or subject matter expert, or like, what kind of a person could I go to ask for help? And so I started researching, and that led to a new skill that I do need to learn this, and it is going to help me overall in everything that I do, not just in this one situation. And so being in over your head along the journey of claiming your worth, I think that's how you know it's working. So if ever you feel a little bit like you're drowning in new territory or like not exactly know what to do, honestly, I think it's admirable that you would even put yourself in a situation where you had a chance to be this uncomfortable, because you could have just as easily stayed nice and cozy where you knew you would be safe.